What's going on, everybody? Steve here, Raiken Profit. Actually, in my garage, these are all the eBay to Amazon packages I'm getting ready to ship out. I wanted to make this video because my good friend Paul just interviewed me about my journey starting scaling my eBay to Amazon business, going from just a couple thousand a month to now doing over 50,000 a month, literally buying from eBay, working out of my garage. It's a little hard to see because the lights have kind of died out over there. So as you can see, we put down the nice floors. You might be able to see them. We got the nice floors, and we got the whole eBay operation going on right here. But I'm super pumped up for this interview because I really break down a lot of great information about how to start, how to scale, you know, why I decided to do this. And here's my little workspace right here. Can you believe it? Almost $500,000 out of this lousy little garage. But I want to send you over to this video. Also wanted to let you guys know, Paul and I are going to be hosting a training as well. So if you haven't attended any of my eBay to Amazon free webinars or trainings, definitely sign up for that. I'll put a link down below. But with that being said, I got to get to work. I got a lot of stuff to do. Enjoy the interview. Thanks, Paul, for allowing me to post this on my channel as well. And hopefully this inspires you. With that being said, much love.
Steve, thanks so much for being here. Really happy that you're here. I'm excited to have you here today because you have a pretty interesting story. You were making good money like just a few years ago, about $3,000 to $5,000 a month, if I remember correctly, selling thrift store items on Amazon. But then you switched to an entirely new business model that's actually making you more money. You run it from home, and you still have something like 25% profit margin. Can you just explain this whole journey to us and how that's possible?
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much, Paul, for having me on the channel, man. It's been a while. Yeah, there's been a lot of crazy life changes. About 18 months ago, I got in a really bad car accident. Luckily, I have a newer Toyota Tacoma. Long story short, I got hit from behind on a highway going like 80 miles per hour by like a massive commercial truck. Shot me forward, smashed through a whole bunch of cars. It was a huge mess. I'd never been like in a serious accident before. And as you had mentioned before, like my whole business was just going to thrift stores. I would buy books and DVDs and electronics and board games, and I would hit Salvation Army and Goodwill. I would go to garage sales. I mean, I would drive across the state to go hit a flea market. And, you know, there were months I was doing $4,000, $5,000, $8,000, $10,000 a month with that method. But after the accident, man, I just got traumatized. Like I just started having like panic attacks and anxiety. And I don't know if everyone deals with that who gets in a car accident, but I know one thing, you're not supposed to be looking in the rear view every single time you're driving. And I got to the point, dude, where I was like, I have to find a way to source products without having to drive everywhere. Like I still go to thrift stores and stuff from time to time, but I didn't want my livelihood to rely on me having to drive every single day across the state. Cause you know how it is. I mean, you've done thrifting and you've done that before. Like it's hit or miss. So long story short, I discovered a way to be able to make money from home that everybody literally told me you couldn't do it. I had friends, I had other resellers that are like, you're not going to be able to do this. You're not going to be able to find enough products. You're going to get kicked off of Amazon. You're going to get in trouble. And obviously we're going to go deep into this topic during this video. But I started experimenting with this method of literally buying items from eBay and flipping them on Amazon. And I know you're going to love this because obviously I know you've dabbled in this a little bit. I've taught you behind the scenes and you're drop shipping and whatnot. But it's the coolest thing, man. Like literally, and I'm going to bend over and show you, I get packages. Yeah, I got set up for this video, man. I get packages, books, board games, DVDs, CDs, electronics that I buy off of eBay. It literally shows up to my house. I unbox everything, I list it, I label it, and I ship it to Amazon FBA. And everybody told me you're not going to be able to do this. You're not going to be able to find items cheap enough. You're not going to be able to do it consistently enough, blah, 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 blah. 18 months later, I've done over $500,000. The last 12 months, I'm actually at $453,000 in sales in the last 12 months. I'm going to try to show you right here. It's actually 455,000. You're probably not, you might be able to see it if we zoom in afterwards, but and if you see that big dip in the middle, I took some time off after Christmas because I got tired, but yeah, I'm doing over 50,000 a month. Profit margins are around 25%. And yeah, I have virtual assistants who source everything for me. It didn't happen overnight. Obviously, after my accident, I had to do everything on my own. I made 1,000,001 mistakes. Lost a bit of money in the beginning doing everything the wrong way. But yeah, man, it's pretty cool. The downside to this business is my neighbors look at me weird, like, why does this guy have hundreds of packages showing up to his house every day? But we'll get into it, man.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I'm really excited to kind of hear more about this and how you've been doing. Like you were saying, I have dabbled in this, and maybe we'll talk more about my experience later. But for the people at home, like, how does this work? It sounds very similar to drop shipping. Is it, or is it completely different? Just kind of give us an overview here.
Yeah. And, a lot of people think that what I'm doing is drop shipping. And we all know you can make a ton of money drop shipping, but this actually isn't drop shipping, because with drop shipping, you're not actually touching the product. With drop shipping, you might be, buying from one supplier, and then you're shipping it from that supplier to the actual end consumer. I'm not doing that. I'm literally buying from a supplier just like you would drop shipping. Maybe you're flipping from eBay to Amazon, or Amazon to eBay, or different websites, but we literally buy our items from ebay.com, physical items, books, board games, DVDs, CDs. And I'm buying anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 items every single month. And I've been consistently doing this for a while, and I'm scaling and scaling. Actually, my goal is to get to over 100,000 a month. Margin will probably drop to like 20% by then, because you know how it is when you scale. But we buy everything off of eBay. We use software similar to drop shipping. There's different softwares you use to research and filter things out and to analyze deals and whatnot. So we use these softwares to be able to filter the price difference between what an item is selling for on eBay. Maybe this is a DVD. I don't know what's in here, but we haven't opened our packages yet. But maybe this is a DVD that I bought off of eBay for $20, okay? And on Amazon, it's selling for $45 or $50. So we buy it, we get it shipped to my house, we open it, we inspect it, we prep it, and then essentially we just list it on Amazon. We price it, we put the condition in, the description, we ship it to the Amazon warehouses. So we actually utilize FBA, Fulfillment by Amazon, which essentially means Amazon does all the fulfillment. They're going to pick it, they're going to pack it, they're going to ship it, they're going to deal with customer service, they're going to deal with returns, and we literally get paid. So that's what I love about this business. Yes, it is hard work. It does take capital, definitely more capital than drop shipping. That's one of the benefits of drop shipping, is you don't need as much capital. But I would say that, the benefits is you could work from home. It doesn't actually take a ton of money to start, a couple $100s. And you're able to pick items that sell really, really quick. So we'll definitely get into more research and whatnot. But I have about a 51% turnover rate month over month. So my items sell quick.
And what about the time investment? Like, how much time would you say maybe it takes someone to start this up, and on a daily, weekly basis, how much time are you spending on this now that you've scaled it?
Yeah. So that's a really good question. So when I first started, 18 months ago, I was spending 30 to 40 hours a week, because I didn't know how to source like online arbitrage. That's buying online and making the difference. The profit is the arbitrage. But in the beginning, I was spending 30, 40 hours a week, because I was doing all the sourcing. I was analyzing all the deals. I was paying for all the items. I was unboxing all the items when they got to my house. I was listing them. I was shipping them. And it's similar to a drop shipping business, Paul. Like, you've been running a 6-7 figure drop shipping business for a while. If you didn't have virtual assistants, Paul, let me flip it on you. How much time would you be spending in your business?
Let's see, more time than is in a week. Yeah.
So it's the same that applies here. The cool thing about drop shipping and the eBay to Amazon flipping model, which isn't drop shipping, is they're both highly, I'm going to make up a word, outsourceable. Is that a word? Outsourceable?
I like it. Let's use it.
Yeah, you like it. So you could outsource everything in this business, whereas with a thrifting business model and going to Goodwills and all that, you have to leave the house. You can't stay home all day. It's really hard to train somebody to buy items for you, because they have to be in the field. They need your credit card. With drop shipping and with eBay to Amazon flipping, literally you could outsource everything. So to make a long-winded answer, hopefully a little shorter, I spend about 5 to 10 hours per week in my business. Actually less than 5 right now, because I've been putting my girlfriend to work. So instead of her working at Anthropologie, now she's prepping items for me. I've got my best friend listing items. So my virtual assistants literally do everything. 2 of my virtual assistants are full-time, and they use a software that we're actually going to share in an upcoming training that Paul and I are doing. So I know Paul mentioned it earlier in the introduction. You could check that out down below. but I'll share with you how we use this software. It's super duper easy. You literally just put in the category, the profit, the ROI you want. I mean, I could train a 10-year-old to do this, and they literally just go through one by one, find all the profitable items and purchase it. So yeah, I love it. Work from home and have the VAs do it all, and they get paid a good salary. I pay them a lot of incentives and stuff, and it's fun, man. It's exciting, and not a lot of people are doing this right now.
Yeah, and I know maybe people listening at home they're hearing about Steve's eBay to Amazon empire that he's built, and maybe you guys are feeling a little overwhelmed. But I want to let you know, like, I'm not at Steve's level on this. You know, I've dabbled in this, but everything I've done for this has been on my own. I've sourced products, shipped them out, did all the prep work myself, and I only spent a few hours a week, and I had a nice side hustle income coming in from that. So it's really as scalable as you want it to be, or not if you don't want it to be too big and you feel overwhelmed by maybe having virtual assistants or things like that.
Yeah, and I saw your setup, man. When I went to your house and saw your cute little chihuahua and I went into your garage, you had a little setup going on. You were flipping DVDs. I don't even think, did you have virtual assistants back then doing it? No.
Not for eBay to Amazon, no.
Yeah, and I think at that time you were doing, I think you were doing 1,000 or 2,000. I don't know exactly what you were doing, but I know you were on a smaller scale, but you were just doing it on the side while you were drop shipping and while you were doing all your other things. And absolutely. Actually, one of my good friends, Amanda, who I taught this method, she's up to about $5,500 per month doing this. Now, again, that's not all profit, but she works full time. She does some type of data entry behind the scenes. So the funny thing is, she was telling me a story the other day when she's working. Hopefully, her work's not listening right now. She'll be on the side, like sourcing on using the software that I'm going to share with you guys, and she's just actually in the process of hiring a virtual assistant, and yeah, her husband was in the military, and long story short, like, they're both getting into it, and it's just, anybody can do this. But yeah, I mean, you don't have to go gung-ho out of the gate. I actually recommend just starting on the side, spend a couple hours a week, get it up to 500 a month and 1,000 and 2,000. It's the same with drop shipping. It's not a race, because on any of these platforms, you never want to move too quickly. The same with drop shipping. You want to slowly build it up, because you are at the will of, you know, Amazon and eBay and these different platforms. So it's better to be safe than sorry. But yeah, there's a lot of potential.
Yeah. So we talked a bunch about DVDs. You've mentioned those a few times. What other types of products are people flipping from eBay to Amazon with your method?
Gotcha. Yeah. So pretty much you could flip anything that you're allowed to sell on Amazon. A lot of people always ask me, Steve, are you only flipping new, or are you only flipping used? What can you do? I flip mostly new items just because you don't have to test them as much. The condition's better. The customers are typically happier. I find they sell a lot faster and the margin's pretty good. But I have a lot of students and friends of mine who are selling used items. Matter of fact, I'd say there's a huge opportunity in used items just because they take a bit more work to inspect and clean them up and whatnot. But in terms of the types of items, any and everything. I've flipped vacuum cleaners. The other day I sold a... I don't even know what it was. It was like this little attachment that goes under the sink. And the brand was Moeb, M-O-E-A-B, or something like that. This was a higher ticket flip. I paid around $275 or something for this item. So this is a bit of an extreme example, but I flipped it for $545. So I made a couple $100 on that item. So tools like Milwaukee, CDs, Sony CD players. I have a Sony headset right here, and I was thinking I flipped multiple Sony cassette players new in the package, CD players, books, board games, video games, any and everything. I sold a... Speaking, I don't know why I'm like thinking about kitchen stuff, but I sold a Delta faucet the other day, paid like 30 something, sold it for 78. So, I mean, you're not going to get rich doing this, but you know, it's good margin. You could work from home. There's a lot of potential. And right now I would say, Paul, it's probably the best opportunity to get into it, because right now at the time of this recording, we are in, early June, mid-June right now, and you know about Q4 on Amazon. So that's October, November, December. So right now you really have June, July, and August, and September. You got about 3-4 months to really build up your inventory, because that was my biggest regret last year, that I didn't have more inventory. I think last year, Q4, I had, I don't know, 15 or 1,500 to 2,000 items in my inventory. Right now I have 3,000. I want to get up to 5,000 items in my inventory by Q4 because things fly through the roof. Like the prices go up, the sales velocity increases. So for anyone thinking about doing this, even on a small scale, you don't have to go crazy like me. Now's the perfect time to get in because I'm telling you, in 3 to 4 months, things are going to be flying off the shelf.
Yeah, and I know a big concern that newbies have, because it was a concern I had when I started, was, am I going to buy all this stuff and is it not going to sell?
Yeah.
And so first I wanted to tell a quick story, which is that when I was doing this, every single item I purchased sold. It might not have sold in 1 month. It might have taken 2, maybe 3 months. But by the time I kind of stopped or turned it off for a bit, everything had sold, which is really a testament to, I guess, the product research part of it. So do you want to touch on that for a moment and kind of that fear people have?
Yeah, no, this is a good fear. And anytime you go into a business, it's actually, I forget who was talking about this. It was some billionaire guy. I was watching a podcast and he's like, the businesses that do the best are the ones that are the most paranoid in the beginning, or they're always paranoid. Like you always have to be watching out for like, is it too good to be true? What's wrong? Like, how do I protect myself? And when it comes to eBay to Amazon flipping, in the beginning, I was super scared because I was like, I'm dropping $10, $20, $30 on a product. And how do I know it's going to sell for 30, 40, 50, $60? Well, selling on Amazon is way different than eBay. On eBay, all you really have is like the sold listings, right? On Amazon, there's a lot of tools that we use in order to, number one, know how many times it's actually selling per month. So I use a couple tools. I'll give away some of the secrets. Of course, we're going to go a lot deeper in the free training coming up. But I use a tool called Keepa. And essentially what Keepa will share with you is the entire history of an ASIN or a product. So say, for example, I'm considering selling, just as an example, these Sony headphones right here. I could look up that specific product, Paul, on Amazon, and I could use Keepa. I use another tool called SellerAmp to see how many times it's sold in the last 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 180 days, a year. I could see how many times Amazon is on the listing and off the listing, which is important because Amazon tends to not play very friendly when they're on a listing with you. They'll steal all the sales. So that's something good to look at. I could see, is the sales velocity increasing or slowing down, which means, is this becoming more popular or less popular? I can take a look using this tool to see, are the number of sellers on this listing going up or down? And that's really important because supply and demand is what's going to control the price. So if you can see easily if this item has a market and is popular, if you could see if the number of sellers is going up or down, if you could take a look, Paul, over 3, 6, 9, 12 months, and you could see with 100% certainty that this price is steady or it's dipping or it's going up or down, it's not like playing at the casino anymore. Now you have data. Now, there's no 100% guarantee that everything's going to sell for what you want and as fast as you want. But who do you think is going to make a better decision? Someone who, is just kind of guessing because they're like, oh, this is cool. This is Sony. Sony's a cool item. I got it for $20. I know I could sell it for 40. It's in the store for 80. Who's going to have more success? Someone who just is kind of guessing, or someone like me or you who's using a tool like Keepa to have 15 different data points, or a tool like SellerAmp, which breaks it all down and makes it super easy. I know a lot of this might sound high level, but it's like riding a bike. In the beginning, it's complicated, but literally a lot of the people I teach and friends, and I'm even getting my mom into this, after about 4 or 5 days, it becomes really, really simple. So it's actually pretty easy to make money. The people who lose money doing this, they don't learn how to analyze items correctly. They just guess. They assume, oh, this is a cool item. Oh, this is popular. This is trending. This is Pokemon, right? Everyone loves Pokemon, but with every product, there's different models and versions and colors and variations. So, there's a science to it, but it's pretty foolproof once you learn how to do it the right way.
That's all good, Steve, but come on, just tell us. For beginners, where should we be concentrating? What are the niches?
Yeah.
Just tell me where it should go.
So as a beginner, this is what I would do. So I would focus on books, DVDs, and CDs. I would just start there. Now, I do a lot of electronics and tools and video games and different things like that. But CDs and DVDs are probably the biggest opportunity right now because they're very easy to analyze. There's not a ton of different data points that you need to know. And I went to your house, Paul. When I went in your garage, I seen a bunch of DVDs. So I know you were going after them, man. How were those margins on DVDs, man? Were they pretty hefty?
Yeah, I mean, look at my face right now. Like, who still buys DVDs? But they're doing it. And it's the cool thing I love about the DVDs is that, or books, I guess, is that they're all the same size, same shape. You just like quickly move through them. And I know people are going to ask, like, Paul, why did you stop doing this? This is like a really dumb reason that I stopped doing this. I had my whole setup in my garage, and then we got a new car and we started parking it in the garage, and I didn't have room anymore. And we have a guest room that was occupied for a bit with a bunch of junk. I cleared that out. So now I'm thinking about getting back into it and setting it up in the guest room. But it's just so nice just being able to just quickly have this like streamlined system with just things that are the same size. So it just moves very quickly. And yeah, the margin on them is shocking because people sell them on eBay so cheap and people are buying them on Amazon for so much more.
Yeah, and one thing I want to mention as well, like I would say probably 80% of my DVDs I sell actually aren't that popular. What do you mean, Steve? Why are you selling stuff that's not that popular? Here's the thing. Say there's only one or two sellers on a listing. Maybe you're selling Dallas Season 5 DVD that's been discontinued for 6 years, right? I'm just making it up. If there's only two sellers who are selling it and they're both at $45 and $46, how many people do you need to actually be interested in that item to sell it? You just need a handful of people in the freaking world. Amazon's open to the whole world. So it's interesting. A lot of people are always looking for the sexiest, fastest flipping items. Like, no. Like 80 to 90% of my items aren't even that hot and aren't even that cool. Like you would look at my items and be like, what the heck? Like I wish I had a box cutter here because I would open some of these up and show you, but I don't sell anything that cool. It's just stuff that has a bit of demand. There's not a lot of sellers. They're discontinued. They're hard to come across. And that's what I've become really good at is finding these hard to come across items that are actually easy to find if you have the right tools on eBay. So hopefully that adds a little context. It's not as cool as it sounds. So yeah.
No, that's really, really helpful. Now, in terms of that, and in terms of getting started with it, how much do you think someone needs as initial investment to buy all these products up front and use the software and stuff like that?
Yeah, so in terms of softwares and everything, like my sourcing software that I use, I think that's like $40 a month. Keepa's $20 a month. SellerAmp, I think that's $20 a month. So it comes to like $100 a month in, in subscriptions and stuff. And some people are gonna be like, I don't have $100. Well, you probably shouldn't start a business because every business is gonna require money. But on a budget, you could probably start in terms of software, like $100 or less. In terms of products, the more money, the better, obviously, because it's a physical product-based business. So you make more money, the more items you flip, the more items you buy. But a lot of my students and friends and family, people that I've been helping to do this, because a lot of people are asking me lately, a lot of them start with just a couple $100. They'll spend, $100 a week or so, and they'll buy, a lot of times if you don't have a lot of money, you want to deal with you want to be pickier with the products you go after. So I'm not going to tell you to go buy a $300 freaking sink attachment and flip it for $500. It doesn't make any sense. With this software that I use, you can actually filter searching for only items that are maybe less than $8 that flip for more than $30. So again, in the training, I'll be covering a lot more in depth with that. I wish I could share more, but we have a limited amount of time here. Couple $100 or so per month to get started. And what I'd recommend is just reinvesting it back in every single month and building up that snowball. Obviously it's not as, I don't want to say it's not as easy as drop shipping, but with drop shipping, like you could scale without having to put money into the physical products, right? Whereas with this business, the downside is like you do have to put more money into the products because it's a product-based business. So, at the point I'm at now, we're spending anywhere from sometimes over $20,000 a month on products. Now, when I started, I know that doesn't help the viewers, but when I started, I was spending $50 a week, $100, then $200, then $300. So I built my business up with no debt. I do use credit cards, but I pay them off in full. And all my inventory, everything started with just a couple $100, and I just kept snowballing it over the last 18 months.
Very cool. Now, I know Steve mentioned a few times this training. I will have a link to it in the description down below and more information about it if you want to sign up for it. And we'll be talking more about this and going much more in depth. But can you give us a little bit of a preview, maybe talk about your maybe top 3 strategies for sourcing items? Because I know that is the most important thing. Like everything else is kind of easy, I would
Yeah.
say, but it's really the sourcing that's like the most important part of all this. So can you give us a little like preview of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the training's going to be about 60 to 90 minutes, and I'm going to break everything down literally from start to finish, okay? And really the secret recipe that I have is, like Paul mentioned, my sourcing strategies. And I'm going to teach my top 3 sourcing strategies in the training. So number 1, I'm going to teach you how to use the software that I use. I don't own it. I'm not like trying to pitch a software to you. Like I just use it and this is just what I'm using. So I'm going to teach you how to use this software to either do it yourself, which you should at first, and then train a VA. So I'm going to teach you how to use this software to find anything from CDs to books to DVDs to any and everything. Okay. I'm also going to teach you, and this is my secret now, is replens, okay? So I have a massive replens list of over 6,000 products now. And what a replen is an item that I've sold previously, flipping from eBay to Amazon, and I have real life data on this item. So we have a massive list of items that we've sold previously, so we don't have to rely as much on the data that these, like Keepa and SellerAmp tells us, because we know exactly what it sold it for. It's like if you've drop shipped an item before and it's like, maybe there's not a lot of data that is like proving this is a good thing to like drop ship now, but you've drop shipped it like 50 times. You're like, I don't care what the data says. Like I have real life data, right? I'm in the trenches doing this. So I'm going to teach you how to identify a replen, how to build a replens list, because that's the magic. You know how it is, Paul. Like a lot of people get caught up like in software and they're like, oh, software is my magic trick. The software is great, but you don't want to live and die by software because anybody and everybody can like leverage software. So I'm going to teach you how to build a replens list and a leads list if you're just getting started and you don't have a replens list. And then I'm going to teach my little secret recipe that will allow you to literally source. So let me put it this way. Say you find a DVD, Paul, from an eBay seller, and you're like, damn, I just bought this DVD for $12 and it's selling for 45, which I find things like that all the time. Make 15, 20 bucks profit. And you're like, whoa, I just went into their store and they have like 7,000 DVDs. Like, I'm going to go one by one. I'm going to open up my Amazon seller app and I'm going to scan them all. No. Don't do that. I'm going to teach you literally a method that I have to reverse source an entire eBay store in a snap. All you have to do is set your ROI, set your profit, set how fast you want it to sell, and I could scan an entire store like literally within seconds. So that's another big thing that I'm going to share. There's a lot more. Like I said, it's a business. It's hard work. There's definitely stuff to learn, but I think there's a lot of potential here. There's a lot of people who don't think you can do this. And there's not a ton of competition now. Give it 2, 3, 4 years. It'll most likely get way more competitive. But right now, I feel like, just based on, teaching a bunch of people and, I've had a YouTube channel for almost 10 years. I feel like, and I know that a lot of people are still kind of like on the fence about it. The market really hasn't shifted towards that. It's kind of like back in like 2016, 2017 drop shipping. Like you could still make a ton of money with drop shipping now, but it's obviously not as easy as it used to be. You could still make a ton of money going to thrift stores like I used to, but it's way harder. eBay to Amazon's kind of like that, like 6 to 7 years ago. But give it 3, 4 years, it's going to get way harder. So that's why I'm saying people need to get in now and start building their business. So come to the training. It'll be fun. And yeah, Paul, I appreciate you letting me blabber for the last 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, so we'll have a link to that in the description down below if you guys want more information about it, and the date and time will be all in there, and you could sign up as well. I have a question. I don't mean to put you on the spot about this, but I'm really curious. What has been your top flip so far from eBay to Amazon? What's like made you the most profit? Are you willing to reveal that to us?
Yeah, I can. What the heck was this item? It was actually just a week ago. Man, I wish I remember what it was. It was an electronic item. And what did it do? Oh, I know what it did. It was a really old, like it was it had something to do with like it would convert a VHS tape to a DVD or something. It was some weird thing like that. 90% of the stuff I sell, Paul, I'm like, I don't even know what the heck this stuff does. But I bought 10 of them from a seller, literally 10 of them. And I spent $24.99 out the door. They were all at like 45 each, but I negotiated. I sent the best offer, and I'll share more about that in the training. And every single one of these is selling for $149 to $159. So literally it's not like the best flip in the world, but every single one has net me like over $100 profit. So I would say as of late, that's probably one of the best ones at the top, man. But you ain't gonna find those all the time. But yeah, I got pretty lucky.
Cool, cool. All right, so any parting words of wisdom for people out there looking to start eBay to Amazon? They want to do something from home, make money from home. What final words do you have for people out there?
I would just say come to this training, come with an open mind, start slow, and be willing to try something new. I started this 18 months ago not thinking it was possible, and now making a full-time income. I've done $109,000 in profit in the last year, so come hang out with us, and looking forward to seeing you.
All right, Steve, thanks so much for your time. I appreciate you.